What up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you.
Is tackling a large issue for you? I mean, your defense's tackling, is that a big problem, a small problem, and how do you get it squared away when you got obviously limitations on tackling and padded practices and all those things?
Yeah, that's always the magic question. It has been a problem. We've missed too many tackles, and I think, we've got to make sure that we're swarming all 11 so that if somebody does miss a tackle, somebody else is right there to make the tackle. But, in order to do that, you got to limit the space that, especially more in the run game, I'd say, making sure that each gap is filled.
Kyle was telling us yesterday how there was never a thought that he'd let your brother come here. Did you ever think there was a chance that he'd allow that?
You know what? That was so long ago, and I'll tell you what, I think everything works out for a reason, and I couldn't be more pleased with the guys that we have working here. Nathaniel Hackett's he's been a big support, big help. He really sets the table for our offense. Luke Getzey, and I can go through every guy. So, it didn't work out, but I have no regrets about it. It's been great.
Matt, if somehow, is that something that down the road, though, eventually, let's say Nathaniel gets a head coaching job, would you like to have a chance to work with your brother again? Would that be nice?
You know what? That's not even in my frame of mind, to be honest with you. Like I said, I think especially, where we're at right now, we're focused on just what's in front of us, and what we have in front of us is a 9-1 football team. So that's where my mind's at.
When you were in Washington, how much brainstorming did the three of you guys do about, offensive football, trying to come up with new schemes, new plays, trying to innovate the West Coast offense? I mean, you and Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay.
That was every day. That's what we do here. It's how do you put your players in position to be successful? And the one thing that I always thought Kyle did a great job was he was able to implement using different pieces. Like you look at in 2012, we drafted Robert Griffin. We never ran zone read before. And all we did was study tape and kind of didn't really talk to anybody about it because we didn't want anybody to know what we were scheming up. But, I think that's what makes Kyle so special, and that's what we learned from him.
Did any of the things that you guys worked out during that time, does that show up on the field now with your offense?
Yeah, I think that the whole foundation of when we were together, from even stemming back, I think, you go back to when we were in Houston together under Gary Kubiak, who worked for Mike Shanahan, and, it all is kind of intertwined, but that's the foundation of the offense. But certainly, just like anything else in life, it evolves, and it's a lot different than what you first saw in Washington.
Matt, you guys haven't played since that Pittsburgh-Cleveland brawl last Thursday night. Do you have to say anything to the guys just to remind them, that you're getting back on the field and just that kind of thing can't happen?
Yeah, I didn't reference that specifically, but we certainly talk about discipline and keeping our composure and making sure we never hurt the team.
How much do you look at the other team's injury report? Maybe I'm sure you do at some point, but like today, Thursday's injury report comes out. Do you pay much attention to the Niners or whoever your opponent is that
week? Every day I check it, and I think early in the week you're just kind of, it doesn't mean as much as it does when you see it the day before the game. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt and try to make your best guess whether or not somebody's going to be up or down.
So, Shanahan said yesterday that most of their guys are going to be game time decisions. How do you kind of navigate around that stuff?
I think you always plan for their top players, and then if they're not in there, then you adjust.
But, for them to go from 4 wins last year and they lost Jimmy, 11 players they put on IR this year, it's pretty amazing that they're at 9-1 considering some of the adversity that they faced. What's your sense of how they've gotten it? Is it because they're in their second or third year under Kyle and it's just coming together? Yeah,
I think he and his staff have done a great job. you look at the numbers, obviously the obvious thing is the defense is so much improved, and they added a lot of talent over there. I've always thought the scheme was spot on. It's a great scheme. And I think, like I said yesterday, I think Robert Sala's done a heck of a job with that scheme and utilizing the players and putting them in position. And I think that's a big reason why they've been so successful. But I think offensively, I think Kyle's got a good vision of what he wants, and he gets players to fit his scheme. And sometimes you get guys that are maybe a little bit less known, and he's able to plug them in, and they're pretty successful. And he's always been able to do that.
Matt, he's in year 3 of implementing that system. Is that the closest to the foundation of what you guys envisioned that's in the league right now? And also, is that sort of what you envision in year 3 that you hope to be?
I just think it's different every year, you know what I mean, in terms of you got to find out what your players do well and then suit your offense to their skill set. And I think that's what he's done such a good job with. And, we've got different style of players across the board. Some of the core principles, core philosophies, core concepts are similar, but, I think it's just you got to do what's best for your team. And our offenses are quite a bit different.
It's funny that you say that because, I know you don't read what we write, but we did talk to Kyle at length yesterday. Can I read what he said?
Sure.
About what you did? He said, just watching him this year, it's been cool to see. It's different than what they did in Tennessee. I can see a lot of that incorporated, but I can also see a lot of the stuff Aaron does. Matt has made a really good decision in putting the best stuff together that helps his quarterback and helps his team. I'm just curious because you could have come in here and said, all right, this is the offense, and this is how we're going to do it. And you kind of humbled yourself to say, okay, these are things that the quarterback does well. How did you arrive at that? Why was that important to kind of meld what you believe in and what he does well to make the offense what it's been so far?
I just think that's our job as coaches, and it's about putting the best product, and it doesn't matter. I think we all have to check our ego at the door and do what's best for our football team. And it doesn't matter what I've done in my past or what anybody else on our staff has done in their past. It's again, catering to our players. And, I'm always really sensitive to the quarterback position in terms of I think that's the toughest position to play in all of sports. And you always want to be conscious and mindful of what they're comfortable with because they're the driver out there. And if they believe in it and they're good at it, chances are it's got a lot better chance of working as opposed to trying to force feed something.
Will there be a day when the wide zone is what you're best at or what is really foundation of your running game? Is that something that takes time to implement? And in your grand vision, is that what you see down the road?
Yeah, I definitely first of all, there's a lot of room for improvement there, but I think it does take some time. But I do think the more versatile you are as an offense, I think the tougher you are to defend. So I don't want to necessarily say that we want to sit there and major an outside zone, but that is a core principle of the offense. And it's not where it needs to be right now, and we're going to continue to work to try to get it to where we want it to be.
Matt, I know with a lot of motions and formations and things you do, you're trying to get defenders' eyes off what you really want to do. Is this game going to be paramount for your defense to have eye discipline? Because Kyle does a lot of the same stuff. Guys talked about that a little bit yesterday in the locker room. Make sure their eyes are in the right spot.
I was going to say, were you in our team meeting?
No, apparently they're spilling secrets.
Yeah, no, that's the illusion of complexity that we always talk about. Kyle does a great job of dressing up formations and to hide concepts, and really, there's so many reasons why you motion. Obviously, like I just talked about, to hide certain things, but also to create communication amongst the defense, amongst the defenders out there, because if there's a breakdown in the communication, there's going to be a breakdown in the coverage or the run fits, and that's how you get the big plays. So that's something that I know we're ready for in terms of we know it's coming, and our guys are going to have to trust their eyes and trust their keys.
I know the last couple weeks you've said that this time of the week is where Tanyan has kind of stopped his progress of getting healthy. How's he doing this week, and what can that do for you guys to get that second receiving tight end in there if he does play?
Yeah, I think it was a big week for him, just for really a lot of our guys to have the bye week to get back, and he's looked good out there. So we'll see come Sunday.
2 more, please.
Kyle also said, he went 0-9 starting out. Talking about your success. And, Aaron said this yesterday too, Aaron Rodgers, about there's no doubt you can come off with a win like you did in Chicago and some of the other big games on the road. That builds. Do you feel that same way that gets you where you need to face the challenge on Sunday night?
Yeah, I think any time in this league football's a game of momentum, and the more you win, the more confident you get. The more confident you get, the more you believe each and every week going into the game, no matter who you're playing, that you're gonna find a way to get it done. And what's been so cool is we've had so many tight games, and we've been able to pull most of them out. But again, it's just you have to hit that reset button. And I know you guys get tired of me saying that, but you have to hit that reset button every week because, like, this is a premier team in the National Football League. They're 9-1, so we're going to have to play our best in order to go out there and get the job done.
So have Bree and the boys successfully rifled through your brother's desk drawers or anything yet, or are they not out there yet?
No, they're out there. So they arrived there late last night, and so I told her, go steal his backpack or something. So.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.